All right, here we go on the final walk around. The system has worked really well for me. It really doesn't have a whole lot of weight on the bumper, and it really doesn't tweak the bumper too badly, because as the weight of the car moves, the cherry picker pulls itself in or draws itself out. So there's really not that much direct pressure on there. I mean, there is some obviously, but it's really sort of back. And as it goes up, it goes back. Well, anyway, it works for me. And what I've done is I've really lowered the car almost to tire height onto the engine, and it's really coming along nicely. It's not hitting anywhere, so far so good. Actually, take that back. This motor mount is touching the body a little bit there, but the little dolly I built a long time ago is coming in handy. The way this dolly works, it's open on this side so you can slide a jack under it. And so I've slid the jack to the front of it, and obviously the front wheels are way higher than the, maybe not obviously, than the rear wheels, and so it's angling the motor back. What I'm accomplishing is lining this up. So it's almost there. It's really pretty close, but the tilt has to come up in the front just a little bit more so that this hole is at the same angle as the mount there on the body. So I'm gonna keep at it. Should have a bolt through there in just a few minutes. So this is how this is turning out. Had to bring in jack number 2 to give it a little bit more angle, but we are almost there. And what ended up happening was this one lined up great, so I went ahead and attached that first. Now I'm just finishing off that one. All right, so a few lessons from today, a few things I learned. Man, these 2GRs, the insulation, it's all about the rotation. It wants to pivot. It's heavy towards the front. And so if I were to do it over again, the little dolly I made, I would have made it probably about 5 to 6 inches higher on the front side of the car, so that it could have pivoted up maybe 20 to 30 degrees, and that's really more level for this motor. And the whole trick is just balancing that pivoting. And so, you know, in order to get this front one in, fortunately I had two jacks where I could play with leveling and pivoting the motor. So have that plan sorted out, how it's going to be pivoted and adjusted. The other thing I learned, putting the slave cylinder in after the fact wasn't too hard actually. This bracket needs to be off. Well, not off, but not connected to the motor yet. And the bracket needs to be loose. Also, the steel braided line, the right orientation for it is pretty much parallel with the bleed valve. I had it a couple different ways before I put it up, and realized after it was on here that it's gonna either be in the way of the exhaust or the mounting bolt, so parallel works well for that. The AC lines. So yes, You always have to bend them, and carefully and slowly, but chances are, a couple things, chances are when putting the motor in, it's gonna push up against the firewall and the tin here anyway, and kind of misshapen them, push them in anyway, get them close to each other, so you have to undo that. Either way, you have to sort of play with it after it's secure. And the coolant line, it's just all so close. It's just gonna hit somewhere a little bit. I think that's just gonna be part of it. But we'll see once it's all about to be hooked up and going, how close everything is. Well, she's in. 3 motor mounts attached, holding itself up under its own weight. And now, to plumb it all in. Brake booster line, which comes out from behind the heat shields there, goes down, wraps around, and goes to the back of the plenum there. Okay, so I did have to make some engine grounds, or the ground straps, which I ended up buying from Walmart. They're pretty cheap. That thick one down there attaches there on the side of the motor mount, and then down there on the transmission. I think it can be seen. Talking about ground straps, the other 2, I used the same ones from Walmart, but like the 24-inch one I just cut in half and got some ends and just crimped them on. So there's one attached there to that valve cover, and another one attached here to this valve cover. The self-bleeding, we'll see if this works, line from this part of the bleed port is the only one that I ran back to the coolant catch can. And that is higher than this, but I don't know how that hose goes up and down, if it's gonna make a difference. But I did not run one to the front. I am going to do a gravity bleed at the radiator with a pail, which hopefully is gonna happen here pretty soon. I just finished hooking everything up, and I'm about to go get some gas and get some oil and coolant in this thing and see if it goes. This is it. We're gonna try it. God willing, everything was done right, and it's gonna work. So we've got freshly charged battery. Coolant's been sitting there, kind of filling for a while. Got the coolant filling here too, and it stopped bubbling a long time ago. We've got oil, we've got transmission fluid, we've got coolant, the clutch is bled, everything is connected electronically. And to the best of my knowledge, ability, and following directions, you should be okay. So here we go. We're gonna try to start her up. Turns over.
Something.
It's trying. All right, the first start was without the exhaust. All right, we're gonna start it with the exhaust. And I'm gonna push the clutch in this time. It's kind of quiet.